Okay, so I just want to welcome you to the very first episode of the Be Battle Ready show. We're going to be digging deep into what it takes to build a battle ready business in your sales, marketing, leadership, and systems so that you can go to war on the marketplace and win. I'm your host, Anthony Campo, founder of Battle Ready Business and lifestyle and business coach. So on today's episode, we're going to set the frame for the show, dig into why we're doing this show, when we're doing this show, what we will be covering, and how the format of the show will go. And finally, we're going to go over a quick overview of my journey as a leader, my philosophy as a leader, and my hope for this show. So let's get into it. All right. So the show, we're going to basically each week, we're going to go into why. So why we're doing this. So I want to support aspiring entrepreneurs to help them build a battle-ready business in their sales, marketing, and systems. Okay? So we will go over this. When we'll be doing this? We'll be doing this on Sundays at 7 p.m. What we'll be covering, each week we'll be covering a different topic. So week one is this week. We're going to talk about just the overview. I'll give you the overview, a little bit on leadership. Week two, we're going to cover marketing. Week three, we're going to cover sales. And week four, we're going to cover lifestyle. So let's talk about how we're going to do this. So I'm going to jump on here every week at 7 p.m. on Sundays. And what I'll be doing, I'll be interviewing a leader in that space. So, next week we're going to cover marketing and I'm going to have a guest. Okay? So I'm just going to interview them and we're going to try to do our best during that show to help support you to build what I call a battle-ready business on that topic, so that you can go to war in the marketplace and win. Okay? So let's just dig down into this week and see how this week's topic of leadership, and I just want to share my journey. It's not that glamorous of a journey into leadership, but it is a journey. So, and my experience of that show. So, of that journey. So my journey, it's funny because I want to go back to all the way back to when I was a kid. I remember one of the first things that I got was in grade school, and I got for some reason, I went to a Christian Baptist school, and we would get awards once in a while. And I got an award when I was a kid that was the Bold Leader Award. I didn't know why I got it, but I got it. But I fast forward to about, I think it was fifth grade, and me and my buddy Scott, we formed our own little clique. And our little clique was required to wear ponchos because that's what was cool at that time. But beyond that, I had some stints in sports that, had leadership roles. But then I fast forward to when I was just thrown into the business with my mom and having to figure out, solve problems and lead portions of that business in a direction. And after a few years, it became not my purpose. And I wanted to jump out and do something else. So I ended up starting a CrossFit gym. And many of them know me that come to know me through that. And it was an interesting journey. Like, really for business, I don't think I was ever really qualified, but who is? So, hey, what's going on? Are you a aspiring entrepreneur or business owner who would like to earn multiple six figures? Do you want to build a business to support your dream lifestyle, makes a difference in people's lives, and gets you paid? Then you're in the right place. Because on this page is a button. That button will take you over to my application page to apply for a one-on-one complimentary battle-ready strategy session with me. During that session, we'll identify where you're at, where you want to go, and clarify the self-sabotaging and limiting beliefs that are holding you back. And as well, we'll go over the 4-step battle plan I use to earn multiple six figures and build a battle-ready business. So go ahead and click the link below, get over to my application page, and I look forward to supporting you. Okay, so I'm back. I totally messed that up, but, I guess that's what it is, when you're learning how to do this stuff. So, like I left off, I started that and I kind of didn't know everything I needed to know. And I started, I had staff and I went with my gut. And then throughout that journey, I learned a lot. I had a lot of struggles and, I want to share a few of those struggles with you because this is kind of like what I want to talk about with each of these leaders that I want to interview. Okay. So my biggest struggle that I faced as a leader, going back, my biggest struggle was two things. 100% all the time belief in myself and my vision, even though I did make progress and have success. I can look back and I can see about how much I could have done or done better, or if I believed in myself more, and led myself better. The other thing was confrontation. So that was something that I had to learn over the time, is actually dealing with when there was a breakdown in the business or in a relationship, actually confronting that by my who I am, what I've done. I ended up avoiding a lot of that, and it took me a long time to deal with that, and actually get better at that and believe more in myself to hold myself to account and hold other people to account. So hold myself to account as holding them to account, right? I was responsible for doing that. So I would say that was one of my biggest struggles as a leader. And then the last biggest struggle was when, I started losing my vision and my purpose and a deeper belief and confidence in myself. And that became really hard. It became really hard to lead and guide when I lost everything and I lost that belief in myself and that even the confidence in what I was capable of. If anybody find that in you, I just want you to step back, really find somebody that can really give you a perspective, and see if you lose that confidence and that belief in yourself, really step back, because that's a hard place to dig yourself out of. Very hard. And how I overcame that is I had to throw myself into and completely walk away from what I was doing. And in a sense, somewhat lose that. And have no other choice, and then I put myself in a position where I had to fight. And when you're putting back against the wall, it's not the place you always want to be, but it's good to know. It's good to know that if you can fight, it really makes you fight. And I want to now go into my biggest victory. I think my biggest victory was taking the gym. And, bringing people together. I look back at like one of the things that, which will get into my philosophy, was one day, you know, we were doing goal setting and I had this epiphany, I had this revelation about, look, I have these goals for this, but I want to know what their goals, you know, people that are with me that are going to help me out in that want, you know, and I, you know, I mean, I can't say that I'm this massive leader of this organization or anything like that, but I believe there's so much value in that is turning to your people and wanting and understanding as you as a leader, what do they want? You know, like what are their dreams? What's important to them, and what's their vision for the organization that they're participating in? You know, so that was a very interesting, a great exercise. We sat in a room, gave everybody time. Hey, take some time to say, like, what do you want to accomplish, and what's your vision? Where do you see this company going? Where do you see this going? So the next question and these are some of these constant questions I want to ask these leaders, and is what do I love to do? You know, as you know, I announced about a month ago that I was let go from my job, and I started. I let go from my job in February, and I've been working on building a coaching practice, and I would say that the two things that I love to do are bring people together and help. And that's any way, like, it doesn't matter. Is that those are the two things, like bringing people together. I can look back over my life and just love, like, even creating a bar, bringing people together for a barbecue. Like that, you know, a little party, anything like that. So that's one of the things I love to do. I mean, as far as work related, we can get into other things. And, you know, the other question is like, what do you feel you're best at? And I feel like it's those two things, like, you know, and that's my journey, and my mission in my career is how can I bring people together and help people, right? Because at the end of the day, like, there's a lot of times I've seen people, and that was one of the biggest joys in the gym. People come in and they didn't see what they didn't see of themselves or what they were truly capable of. You saw, and fitness exposes this so much, is that you come in and you're like, man, I cannot do that. And it's like, as a coach, it's so rewarding to take somebody and say, no, like, you don't have to go to here yet. You just do this, and seeing that person progress, just that little step, which is so amazing. And it's that part of that. So, you know, my mission and career, my life, is to maximize, and if that's really I've been reading a new book called The Big Leap, and it talks about this. It talks about your zone of incompetence, your zone of competence, your zone of excellence, and your zone of greatness. So my mission is to find that thing that allows me to, that my zone of greatness, whatever that is, to bring that forward into the world and make the biggest impact. You know, and it could be like, you know, part of my coaching and what I've been developing is this masterclass. And a part of that came out of that was, look, it doesn't matter who you are or what you're doing. Like, there's so much rhetoric and belief when we look at, we got to change the world. We got to do something so grand, but you could change the world by just baking a cake. Like, in this masterclass, I was shooting, I was practicing in this webinar, you know, it came out of it during that process is like, there's Antonio Stradivari, and he made some of the finest violins ever, right? He's changed the world, but he hasn't really solved this, you know, he hasn't made the world this peaceful place, or he hasn't cured a major disease. He just brought beautiful music into the world, and he didn't even play the music. So my point here is that, you know, I do feel like any of us have this, and that's what I want to see out of people is, find that place where they're so happy doing what they want to do that they can go ahead and bring that into the world and really make an impact on other people's lives. Alan, I'll put the masterclass in the comments, the link to it, and you can definitely go and watch it. So let's talk a little bit about my philosophy. And finally, I just want to talk about my philosophy on leadership. I went to Chapman University and ended up there because of some, ended up back there, and I was going to initially go in and I wanted to do exercise physiology because I really was interested in how to make, athletes perform better because I wanted to know how to perform better for all that. But then my buddy Nick and we're coming back from Vegas in a rugby tournament or something like that. And he started talking to me about the major that he was in, and it was leadership. And he started talking about all the stuff they were covering. And I just felt like, hey, I've just got to go do that. And that was an amazing experience, right? I feel grateful for that. And I ended up graduating with leadership in organizational studies, and we covered different types of leadership. But, out of that, the belief that they came from was servant leadership. And I do. A part of what, me as in the past, doesn't mean I was always on point with it, but I do feel like, me going forward is I'm here to serve whoever, customers or even my staff or whoever follows me. Even if it's one person, it's cool. I'm there to serve. The other thing is, look, I had this big conflict, right? I was being influenced by leaders and consultants and all the stuff that they had to be you had to be this hero type of leader, right? And in that, I had this conflict within me because that wasn't authentically me, because I'd rather see somebody else put somebody else in a position to let them shine, and not be the expert. And I had that, I was like, it was a weird thing. It was like, well, what do I do? How do you really show up in this, right? And being early on is that was a very, hard thing, right? But now it's like, look, faith and trust in people, and look, I want to find the experts and I was talking with a client of mine about this, is like, eventually he needs to find somebody that's better than him at that specific task. And that's absolutely true. So, definitely completely respect and integrity in the sense of making sure that this has nothing to do with morals or values or anything like that, but just, making sure that, you have integrity between each other, within communication, within the relationship. And then definitely being accountable, right? And I think going back to what I was talking about earlier is about belief in myself. I was so hard on myself, and my wife knows this, about how hard, I could be on myself about things. And finally, I want to talk a little bit about my hope for this show. Look, I could have come out and talked to you and told you, I've debated about this. I'll be back up real quick. I've considered this type of situation, doing something like this, for a very long time. And I thought about different formats and all that. But at the end of the day, my value is in finding the best people to put them, to learn from them. So the format of the show, I'm going to be bringing people on to interview them that are better than me, flat out. At the end of the day, that's who I want to put on this show. In those topics of leadership, marketing, sales, and lifestyle. in personal development. So the lifestyle week 4 is lifestyle and personal development, which I think is very important and something that's left out of this, of a lot of conversations in this, right? It's a lot of it's tactics and strategies and all that. So my hope for this show is that if you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a current business owner, and if you get value out of this show, right? You can pick something up from people that are better than me, that know a lot more, and from everybody else. So that's my hope for you. So if you're an aspiring entrepreneur, you're stuck in a job you hate, like you want to make that leap, but you don't know how, that you can provide the guests on this show, the content in this show can help you bridge that gap from being stuck in a job you hate to where you want to go. Okay? And if you're a current business owner and you are frustrated, like you're just hit a plateau or you're having troubles, that somehow we could support you in that journey of going from where you're at and breaking through those struggles, or even taking your business to the next level. And really help you affect your situation. So I want to thank you for the time. I apologize, I messed up the first part of it. I wanted to screen share and do all this other stuff, but, rookie mistake, But anyways, we'll see you back here next week at 7 p.m. I am interviewing Najla Kayam, my former boss and mentor, not former mentor. She's still a great resource. She's a powerful woman. I am so proud of not only being her friend and honored to be friend, have her as a mentor, have her as someone I could reach out to, and grateful for who she is and who her husband is. So I'll be interviewing her. She's the head of Kayam Marketing. She is an absolute, she's powerful. I am enamored by, the strength and power and tenacity that she has. So I really think that you'll get value. I really appreciate you jumping on this 16, 17 minutes and a couple minutes before of that mess up. I look forward to next week, 7 p.m. Sunday, Mountain Time. So till next time, I am inspired by you, I believe in you, and I'm here to support you. Till next time.